Do you have any? Good job. Thank you, Marco. Any questions for Steve?
Mr. President, do you have any reaction to the attacks between India and Pakistan?
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. You know, they've been fighting for many, many decades and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
Mr. President, are you considering adding a stop in Israel during next week's trip to the Middle East? And also, what's your reaction to Israel's plans to reoccupy Gaza if there is no ceasefire?
Well, the plan we haven't talked about, but we're not planning on stopping in Israel. But we will be doing it at some point, but not for this trip.
Mr. President, there's a report that the UK is offering various trade concessions. What's your response to that? And also,
who? What?
The United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And can you also say, if you were discussing tariffs with Mr. Arnold?
And what about the United Kingdom?
They're offering various trade concessions, apparently, cars, steel, digital services.
They're offering us concessions? Yes. I hope so. They do want to make a deal very badly.
Can you say your guests here, are you discussing tariffs or business?
No, I think that United Kingdom, like every other country, they want to go shopping in the United States of America. China wants to, very much wants to make a deal. They all do. Yeah, I would say that every country wants to make a deal, and not the ones they had in the past where we were like, look, we were being ripped off by every country practically without exception in the entire world. And those days are over. Those days are over. And, you know, I said before in our meeting with the
to attack Israel, which you said he didn't know about, but if they continue to attack Israel, just not attack.
Well, I'll discuss that if something happens. Okay, if something happens with Israel and the Houthis. Yeah.
Announce later this week.
Well, I can announce all of them now. I could announce 50 to 100 deals right now because, you know, I'm the shopkeeper and I keep the store. And, you know, I know what countries are looking for and I know what we're looking for. And I can just set those terms and they can go shopping or they don't have to go shopping because everybody wants to shop here. This is like a beautiful store. This is like one of Bernard Arnault, or maybe I should say Alex, even more importantly, Young, the future. But Bernard's an honor to have you. We'll have a meeting after this. But he has the greatest stores in the world, and they want to shop. Our country is the greatest store in the world of that kind, and everybody wants a piece of it. And they took advantage of us for years because we allowed presidents. Our presidents allowed it to happen. You know, I don't blame China, and I don't blame Vietnam, and I could name every single country all the way up and down the line, South Korea. Every single country took advantage of us without exception. Japan, these are friends of mine, but they took advantage of this country. They ripped off our country, selling us millions and millions of cars a year, and we sold them none. We weren't allowed to sell them a car. They took advantage of us. I don't blame them. I blame the people that sat behind that desk that allowed it to happen, but I don't allow it to happen. I didn't in the first term, but this is a much stronger position because we're the greatest economy in history in our first term. Stock market was up 88%, and we had numbers much better than that. But this is going to be, I think, a much better term, and I think the tariffs are coming in, starting to come in. We were losing $5 billion plus a day on trade. Now we're not losing that kind of money, and we'll soon be making a lot of money a day and a year and a month.
You and perhaps the Attorney General. The Justice Department recently received a criminal referral against New York Attorney General Tish James for fraud. We haven't heard much about it. Could you or the Attorney General give us an update as to what's going on with that investigation?
Well, I don't want to get involved in something that Pamela's involved with. If you'd like to say something, Pam? I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being, and I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it, but that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person, but that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known her a long time. Yeah, go ahead, behind you.
Thank you. On Gaza, you said there's been progress in the Middle East. But at the moment, as a colleague said, Israel, Netanyahu is saying he now wants to conquer Gaza. Is there any prospect of any movement on that? Are you happy with what Netanyahu
Well, we've
is doing?
gone very slowly because we want to try and get as many hostages saved as possible, and we've done a good job in that regard. 2 weeks ago, I had 10 hostages come in, and they thanked me profusely. And I said, you have nothing to thank me about. What they went through is incredible. They lived in a pipe. You know, they keep hearing about caves. It was a pipe, 3.5 feet high. And they didn't know if they were going to breathe. They didn't know if they were going to live to the next day. They lived like hell. I couldn't believe the stories I was hearing. And they weren't grandstanding. These were people that were seriously mistreated. One was in for 512 days. One was in for 361, I guess, days. And one was in for a shorter period of time. The stories were unbelievable. I said, how many people are left? How many are left? They said 59. I said, oh, wow, that's more than I thought. They said, well, only 24 are living, but now it's 21. That was a week ago. Now it's 21 are living. And these are young people. These are young people don't die. Old people die. Young people don't die under these. And his sisters, Amy and Susie. Thank you. Thank you both. His daughter-in-law, Sophie. Hi, Sophie. His brother-in-law, Gary. Oh, there he is. Oh, hello, Gary. Thank you. And his sister-in-law, Elaine, and also many others. Thank you all very much. I also want to thank our great Vice President, J.D. Vance, Secretary Marco Rubio. And Marco, we're having a big day. I think, Marco, we'll find out. We're having a big period of time. I think that this is potentially a great time for our country in solving a lot of problems that we inherited that we should have never had, frankly. Attorney General Pam Bondi was incredible, and Senator Lindsey Graham is. Oh, Senator Graham, where are you? Where is Senator Graham? Hello, Lindsey. Steve is a graduate of some great schools, including Hofstra University, where he studied political science and law. After graduating, he entered the real estate business, co-founding the Stellar Management Company in 1985 and launching a legendary career. You know, he started off in a law office. In fact, he was one of my young lawyers. And they said, that guy's smart, but he just started. It was a very smart firm, Dreyer and Traub. Killers. They were total killers. They said, he's worse than all of them. But people don't know that. They think he's a nice guy, Pam. Not that nice, actually. But he is something. Steve quickly established himself as one of the toughest, smartest, and best negotiators in the business. In 1997, he founded the Witkoff Group, which now owns dozens of the most beautiful and iconic properties in the entire world. He's owned some incredible properties. As a businessman, he's admired and respected by all. And now Steve is putting his talents to work for America as special envoy to the United States and making a lot of progress. Our country is blessed to have a negotiator of such skill and experience who really selflessly steps up to the plate, puts himself forward all the time. Over the past few months, Steve has already helped negotiate the return of dozens of hostages from Gaza, and they come in and see me, many of them, and they are so thankful to Steve. And also hostages from other parts of the globe. He's met with President Putin, Prime Minister Netanyahu, representatives of Iran, and many other places. He is meeting with people that he never really thought he'd ever meet just a few months ago. And he's figuring it out. It takes him about an hour to figure it out. After that, he's brutal. He does a great job. He's working tirelessly to end the bloody and destructive conflicts, and one in particular with Russia and Ukraine, and where you're losing 5,000 young people a week on average, Ukrainian soldiers, Russian soldiers, and people in towns and villages that are being killed. We want to bring it to an end, and we're working. Steve is in the Middle East, where I think we're having some very good success, and you'll be hearing about it as we go. We had tremendous success over the last month, and you know, we're taking the word of the Houthis, but they didn't want any more, and I understand that. And they have decided that they don't want to do this anymore. So I'm proud to have him as a friend. Steve's a very fantastic guy. I picked him out of a lot of people. I had a lot of choices, But I said, we need somebody with two things, a great personality and somebody that could negotiate. And he's got both of them.